Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. They'll be talking about a chance for people to get a little food and history, courtesy of Troy University. And my guest today, the First Lady of Troy University, Janice Hawkins. Thanks for joining me here today.
You're so welcome.
And as I mentioned, food and history, because right now we're in the middle of the 125th birthday celebration for Troy University, but there's a cookbook coming out that is highlighting this the festivities and the history of Troy. Tell us a little about what's going on with this book.
Well, this is our third cookbook, as you know, and our first two cookbooks were, I think, great success stories, and we wanted to do something different this time. I wanted to know what would make people want to buy this cookbook when we've already had two that have been not only about food, but about Troy University. So we've tied it together with our 125 years and celebrating 125 years of taste and traditions of Troy University is the title of this cookbook.
And mentioned there tying in the tradition, but one of the things we talked about before we started here was the fact that there's a little bit of history going to be involved as well. Since the 125th anniversary, and in addition to just recipes, there's going to be other facts and information in the book as well, right?
Correct. We decided that we would make it in 8 categories, and that ties with the 8 presidents that we've had to this point. So beginning with Joseph Dill and ending with Jack Hawkins, that we would highlight their tenure as president, the things that happened at the university, and that each topic would be associated with that. For example, the first one is beginnings, and so we're asking for traditional kinds of recipes, something your grandmother might have had, something you remember from someone years ago at Troy University. And in addition to that, we're highlighting some recipes from ancient Troy that we've come across and will have in this particular in this first category.
Fun. And the categories, you said there's 8 categories, so obviously there's a variety of different types of food. What all other categories are we going to look for?
Well, we have beginnings. The first one, we have traditions, and again, that's kind of self-explanatory. We have holidays, so any Christmas recipes, Easter, you know, etc. Entertaining, and we're going to do some things unique to Troy in that, and asking people for any types of recipes that they would use for entertaining. The fun one, tailgating.
Oh, of course, of course.
The light side, because people are into health, and some people that, for example, are diabetics and would want to submit a recipe or two about that. Family time, accentuating the family meals, the family component of Troy University that we like to talk about. And then the last, which would be Jack Hawkins' tenure, would be international. Of
course. It was the man who brought international flavor here. Why not have international flavor in the cookbook underneath it? So,
well,
and it seems appropriate. Now, you keep there a number of times, you talk about submitting. I know one of the big things now is you're looking for people to submit these recipes.
Right.
And so, and not only that, you want stories as well, right?
We do. We did this in the first 2 cookbooks. We asked for recipes. We want recipes from students, faculty, parents, families, friends. You don't have to have gone here or be associated in any way. You can be a friend of Troy University. We want recipes. We're asking for people, if they wish, to submit a memory in conjunction with recipe, and it could be as simple as, this was my grandmother's recipe, or it could be something, you know, at such and such a game, you know, we tailgated and had this wonderful chili, or something like that.
The greatest chili I ever had, and it was right before Troy beat Missouri in 2004. And that's the kind of story you kind of want to be able to tie the Trojan spirit in with all of the foods and items there.
You know, in our first cookbook, we actually had some student recipes that had maybe 3 ingredients, but that's okay. That's what we want. And this is all of us. This isn't just Janice Hawkins doing this. This is all of Troy University.
Of course.
And I want to tell you, on the first cookbook, my husband, who had never, ever looked at a cookbook, loves to tell the story that when he opened it and read from cover to cover, because it was, it was not only just a cookbook, but about Troy, and we want people to do that about this one as well.
And here's hoping that there'll be plenty of stuff in there for people to be able to read. And
Yes.
you mentioned the history is going to be there, so that for any of the Troy history buffs out there, that would be something that may want to get their hands on this cookbook as well. Now we're running out of time, and I know
we have much more.
There's much more, but I'm sure that there'll be more about this as the time comes along. When is the book supposed to come out?
Homecoming.
Homecoming
Definitely has to be ready by homecoming,
Okay.
because we need it by then, and it's going to be a fundraiser, also sold as a fundraiser for student groups and others. So we want it to be ready by homecoming.
All right. Well, here's hoping that the book will be a big success and plenty of submissions. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.